Here with the stories that have got us all talking. Journalist Bryony Gordon and ITV News entertainment reporter Rishi Davda. It is so good to see you. Let's start with Wimbledon. Let's start with Wimbledon.
How was Wimbledon?
Wimbledon was fantastic. Well, I saw the game that went on and on and on, but it was amazing. And Fognini, the beautiful Italian man, 38 years old, and I'll tell you what, he gave the number 2 a run for his money, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely fantastic play. I think Wimbledon, everyone rises to the occasion. There's something really special about it. You have all those celebrities out there watching you, including yourself.
Look at the end of it. It was smashing.
There's something incredibly wonderful about tennis this time of year, apart from the fact that people were sitting in 32-degree
Do you know,
heat.
Rishi, a lot of people actually left after the first set. We didn't. I was right beside the royal box, having a right good old look who was in there. But I was kind of in the shade, which was, if you can get the shade, I mean, a little bit. And there was a little bit of a breeze, but geez, people left. People were fainting. Yeah. Weren't they? They had to stop the game at one point because people were fainting. It was crazy.
Well, in that royal box, Sir David Beckham.
Indeed, I saw.
Yeah, with his mum, Sandra.
Yes.
And close friend, Gareth Southgate.
Yep.
We also had Princess Beatrice and Sarah Ferguson.
I never saw them. They must have been a bit at the other end of the bit that I was looking in.
Apparently it's the first time that Fergie's been at Wimbledon in more than 2 decades. She used to go with Princess Diana quite regularly.
Jeez,
and in the royal box.
Yes.
Is there a little kind of, is that a sign that, I mean, I don't think the king personally chooses who goes in the royal box.
I don't know how you get in there, to be honest.
I'm much more interested in looking at who's in the royal box.
Who's in there, who's in and who's not.
And like, you can see the Beckhams and the Eddie Redmaynes, but I'm like, who are these powerful people behind?
It's the ones you don't know.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that the invitation comes that you get a knock on the door and there's just a man with a bugle.
Oh, there has to be a man with a bugle. I'd be
knee
so
who delivers
upset.
some invitation.
I'd be so upset if there wasn't. It has to be a big... How exciting. Richard Osman was in there, who we love.
Yeah.
But, much as I do love him, I would not like to be sat behind him. But you wouldn't be seeing much action.
He'd have to tell you what was happening every point.
He's a tall man. He's a tall man.
I feel sorry. I mean, he must have had to adapt over the years to, like, cinema trips and theatre trips to become sort of slightly hunchbacked.
He just watches the tennis like this.
Oh,
yeah, it's great.
But it was some match. It really was. And we talked about Fergie, and it is interesting, this. I think Prince Philip was not a fan, suffice to say, so maybe since he's
I don't think he was a fan of many people, was he?
He did not suffer many people. Yes, he didn't. he just, apart from the Queen, that was probably it. But I think now that he's and it's a new regime, and I think maybe, they've just thought, she's been so loyal to everybody, perhaps it's time to bring her in from the cold. Maybe? Yeah. I think so. It's interesting that she's not been there since the days of Princess Diana. It's crazy, isn't it, when you think about it? Now, look, the heat was a challenge, like we said. Somebody had to be taken away from Wimbledon, but it has been a challenge for all of us.
Yes. I don't know. How did you sleep last night?
I was absolutely fine, to be honest, and I think it's always strange when people moan about the heat because we spend 11 months, maybe 11 and a half months of the year praying for sunshine. Being like, oh, it's too grey and it's cloudy. And then the sunshine comes, they're like, oh, no, this isn't what we asked for. No, definitely not. It's too hot.
There's sunshine and then there's blazing heat dome. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's a different thing. Like, I think it's OK to be... I mean, last night I was definitely doing that thing of flipping the duvet, looking for the cold side of the duvet, and then I had
turning the pillow over.
Yeah, and I had to accept that there was no cold side, and it was not happening.
No, there was not. I mean, Dr Amir said that you should put your socks in the freezer and then put them on, and I think that's a good idea. But at the same time, I'd be worried that they would get a bit sort of damp and you'd get wet feet.
Yeah,
I mean.
Also, I think you might forget, and then you'd get to December and you'd look in the freezer and be like,
why is there
when did I cook that?
Yeah.
What on earth is going on there? That's not so good. A lot of people say that you should maybe not sleep together if you've got a spare room.
Well, this is
or the sofa in the living room.
There's a study that's been done that revealed that apparently 10% of people are only able to have good sleep if they're not sleeping with their partner in the same bed. They polled about 2,000 people.
Is that you?
Can I say, whatever the weather, I do not share a bed with my husband. I really like him. I love him. He's great. But ever since we got together, so we've been together probably about 14, 15 years now, we've never really shared a bed. I can't share a bed, and I used to feel a lot of shame about it.
Right.
And now I just think when you've been married, so we'll celebrate 12 years this weekend.
Well done.
As long as, like, beds are for sleeping in.
Yes.
They're not for... I mean, there are other times when you can schedule in the other things that you might do in your bed, but we won't talk about that at 9:05 on a Tuesday morning. But
someone's probably has it scheduled.
I think it's so much. Much healthier because we get a proper sleep. You know,
Exactly.
I mean, like, you know, sex is great, but have you ever tried starfishing in a bed all to yourself?
It's fabulous, and you're right. I think a lot of couples have what's called a sleep divorce, don't they?
Yes.
That they're still very, very much together. I mean, crikey, look at celebrity couples that have different houses.
I think it's the key, actually,
What,
to a happy marriage. Yeah, a key to a happy marriage is... The key to the happy marriage is to not live with your other half or ever see them, and then you love each other very much. No, I do think that if you can sleep in a separate bedroom, it just makes it all so much, you know, much more relaxing. I want to kind of toss and turn.
Yes, and snore.
And snore. I want to snore
Yes.
freely. And also, I don't want to hear... My husband has this thing where he has to watch a programme to go to sleep. I find that annoying.
Because you can still hear the bzzz. Even though they've got the earplugs in, you can still hear the... And in fact, it's more annoying.
It's much more
to hear
annoying.
the little
I'd rather
bit.
he had his documentary on full blast.
I hear you.
We're going away this weekend for our anniversary, so we're obviously going to have to share a bed.
Oh, right, gosh.
So, but I have a solution.
Yes.
Never fear, and that is separate duvets.
See, they do that. But when I was in Norway, they do that. They have separate duvet. I think that's a brilliant thing. Not that I was sleeping with anybody. I mean, it was obviously when I was out there. But they have, like, any room you go into, there's 2 separate duvets. If it's a double bed, that's a great thing. And the Scandies know things.
Some of people in this survey about sleep in the same bed, so that 57% of those said separate beds help their rest, and 26% said it helped their relationship.
So actually, there's something in it.
I don't think it's such a strange
something
thing.
in it. Listen, you're coming back to see me to talk many things.
Lots of interesting things, including the, in your words, underwhelming potential next James Bond.
Listen, if you're going to be James Bond, you have to have a bit about you. You have to have... there has to be something about you. There has to be. Bear in mind that we want them walking out of the sea. You know, it's important.
It's
important!
There's plenty of time for them to go to the gym. I don't think they're filming just yet.
No, I'm not happy. And you were covering Glastonbury.
It was.
How was that? I've never been, you see.
Well, next year, fallow year, so 2027, you have to come.
Do you think?
I think so.
I don't know, you see. I think it's all very well for these folks, VIPs and whatnot, that waft around and they come in their helicopters and all that. But that's not the real Glasgow, is it?
What makes you think that you wouldn't be in that VIP category?
Nah, I don't want to be, though.
No,
I'd rather be out the front sweating.
It's a lot of walking.
Is it?
Yeah,
well, you get your steps up, that's
You
good.
really get your steps in. And when it's as hot as it was...
Yeah, it must be bonkers.
Yes, yeah, it's... but it's an experience. It's one of the things I think you kind of have to do.
Sure.
Whether you glamp or you are in something more makeshift.
Indeed.
It's interesting because on day one, people are like, I'm going to look amazing, everything's going to be perfect, we're going to have a great time. By day 5, it's just like walking zombies. The smell is strong.
So I don't know if I could be doing with that.
People kind of give up on the whole, like, showering. It becomes a little bit optional by the end.
I understand. A lot of controversy, though, on a more serious note, an awful lot of controversy about this.
It's interesting because Glastonbury, I always say, is kind of like a vacuum in that what goes on inside, the people who are there don't really understand the impact outside the fences because signal's not great and you kind of just live in this bubble. But a lot of controversy this year, specifically around Kneecap and Bob Vylan. So if you start with Kneecap, they were on stage, and there was some controversy earlier on because one of their members, Liam Ogohani, was just over a week ago released on unconditional bail over a terrorism charge, something he denied, so there were calls for them not to perform at all. And then on stage, there were anti-Keir Starmer chants and also calling for a riot at the next court date. But that was something they actually backtracked on stage, potentially realising the error of their ways.
So dumb.
But before they were even on stage, on that same performance space, West Holtz, you had Bob Vylan.
Who I'd never heard of.
This punk...
I couldn't have picked him out in a lineup.
Well, it's a duo. It's a punk duo.
Oh, it's a duo?
Yeah.
Really? Right, OK. That shows how much I know. But we all know him now, or the duo now,
yeah,
don't we?
there was death to the IDF chants, which was hugely problematic.
Yes.
And caused all sorts of outrage. It was being live-streamed on the BBC. Bob Vylan have now been dropped by their label. They've had their US visas revoked. They were supposed to be going on tour later this year. The BBC has said we should have pulled the live stream
down.
down.
For goodness sake, they've got so many cameras and so many people there. All they had to do is press a button, cut to somebody else, and don't show hate, pure hate, no matter what you think, where your standpoint comes from, what your opinions are. No, it's not acceptable to do those sort of things to anyone.
Sir Keir Starmer said it was appalling hate
It's
speech.
appalling.
And
Awful.
Glastonbury issued a statement fairly quickly saying that it crossed the line and there was no space for this
No, absolutely
at the festival. The thing is, we often talk about the performances and everyone wants to be talking about the performances or their memories from it.
But then it always ends up, these guys take the headlines, don't they?
And the local police force have opened a criminal investigation into the performances on the stage. So I think it's likely we'll be hearing about, Glastonbury 2025 for a few more months.
Well, in order not to encourage others to do that, they have to make sure that if anybody starts to do that sort of hatred, no matter where, like I say, it's appalling. It's appalling. Pull the plug. Just pull the plug. I mean, I don't understand why they didn't. It's, I'm sure an investigation is going on as we speak. Can we swiftly move on to James Bond? Please tell me about the 3 contenders that we reckon who are in it.
Well, so Amazon bosses have apparently been deciding who is going to be the next James Bond. And it's a very difficult role to cast because it's so iconic.
Of course.
So we're hearing they've narrowed it down to 3,
Go on, then.
which would be Saltburn star Jacob Elordi, Spider-Man Tom Holland, and baby girl actor Harris Dickinson.
I just think they all look way too young, and if I'm being honest, a bit weedy to be James Bond. Beautiful boys, very talented, but I'm not sure that they're right for James Bond unless they go and change their bodies or something.
My thought is that Amazon have probably said, let's go for somebody a little bit younger.
I get that. That makes sense.
Because we want to build this into a big franchise.
So that they're around for a long time.
We can get
I get
maybe
that.
2 decades worth of films out of them.
Yeah.
I personally think that Tom Holland is maybe the better shout because I know both Jacob Elordi and Harris Dickinson are very tall. And I think as James Bond, you need to be able to blend into the crowd. But at 6'5", surely the baddie's going to be like, when he's over there, he's the one with his head above everybody else.
That's a very shrewd observation. Unless they make everybody very tall or they put him in a trench.
Yeah, unless they film in Scandinavia and everybody's gigantic. But
so funny.
Interestingly, Jacob Elordi is Australian.
Yeah.
But we've had an Australian James Bond
Of course we
before,
have.
George Lazenby.
Yeah.
So
the man from the Big Fry adverts.
Yeah.
I remember him.
And I'd like to think that an Australian would do a better British accent than maybe potentially an American actor stepping into that role.
Oh, controversial.
I think it would be hard, it would be gone over with a fine-tooth comb there. Whereas I think
it'll be interesting, whoever it is. I just hope they get to it soon because it's been a long, long time. Now, look, lots of new TV shows have been announced, especially from Disney.
Yes.
Yeah, a raft of them.
So the first of which, Wayne Rooney, Colleen Rooney, going to be giving us a reality show, kind of a fly-on-the-wall look at what goes on in the Rooney household. I don't imagine that's every day. I feel like that was probably quite Christmas.
I think that was Christmas. I think they're all their Christmas jambos.
But apparently Colleen's popularity has skyrocketed post I'm a Celebrity.
Yeah, she was
came
lovely
across
in that show.
really, really well.
She really did.
And as a result, Disney Plus are investing in a documentary there. The return of Blind Date as well, which was on air from...
How do you follow in the footsteps of Scylla, though? It's a difficult one.
Absolutely iconic.
Yes.
But it's going to look quite different when it comes back. We're hearing that potentially there might be this element where they send the contestants off to a location, they spend a whole summer together.
Oh, that's like Married at First Sight, then.
I was thinking more Love Island, almost.
Well, maybe. No, I'd quite like it to be the way it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was very good. It was actually very naive in a way, and it was rather lovely. And more. There's more with these two, with Jamie.
Yeah, so Jamie Lang and Sophie Habu, baby on the way,
Yeah.
and they're going to be documenting that portion of their life for Disney Plus once again.
Disney Plus, gosh.
Series there. They've had a very successful podcast, and they're hoping to build on that. They're very much an it couple at the moment.
They are, and they're both actually lovely.
Yes.
They're really lovely.
Yeah.
And I think people will be really interested in the next stage of their life. I mean, I'll never forget that, what he did for Comic Relief. It was astonishing, absolutely astonishing.
It's fascinating because I go to a lot of red carpets where they're there, and they are so noticeably happy all the time. There's never not a smile on their face.
I love that.
Yeah.
Isn't that lovely? Now, look, there's going to be a bit of a plot twist for Downton fans. We're told it's the final movie. That's it. It's gone. Maybe, perhaps.
It's TV and film. When someone says final, it means it's final until someone goes, well, we should bring that back. Actually, it's been a while since we've seen one of those. Well, we've had a new trailer for the Downton film, which is out in September, and it's riddled with controversy.
Right.
All around Lady Mary, played by Michelle Dockery.
Yes.
Who finds herself in a very public scandal after divorcing Henry Talbot.
So is he not in it then?
Well, I'm not going to give away too many spoilers, Lorraine,
no.
but yeah, it brings shame to the family. Let's have a look at the trailer.
That's fantastic. See the way they all went...
And that happens when you...
Handbag.
That happens in real life when you say something, doesn't it? Everyone just... Music stops.
They stop immediately, and then she has to go. Oh, that's a shame. That means we won't see your man, Matthew Good, maybe.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how things play out come September. I'm sure lots of people are going to be interested.
I loved him in Department Q.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I cannot wait for the second series of that. Everybody in it was fantastic. Thank you so much for that romp through.
Pleasure.
And I'll have a wee think about... I'm thinking Jack Lowden for James Bond. That's who I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of that sort of... I'm going in that sort of direction.
still in the...
Sam Hogan, that kind of person.
I'm still in the Idris Elba category. I think he'd be a fantastic James Bond.
Look
yeah,
at him. Come on.
He'd be
and
great.
he's Scottish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I met Pierce Brosnan recently, and I think he could come back. He's still got it.
He has, in bucket loads. Well, that's a wrap for this video. We hope you enjoyed it. We have all the best moments from the show right here on the channel. And if you like this video, then we think you'll love this one. See you next time.